Hi, this is SUZY650 and today we're going to be sitting there taking a good look and a realistic building view of the sim chair, the GT Lite. Hi, this is SUZY650 and we're going to be doing another review today. And today's review is on the GT Lite. So let's see how good it is. It's not so light in the box. So, the GT Lite. This is like the hottest thing on the planet at the present second. They're really hard to get hold of. They're reasonably priced. And this is going to be the saviour of sim racing. I've been going out and I've been getting loads and loads of steering wheels lately. All for the retro ones. XBOX360, PS4, PS3. And the gaming's good. I'm hooked on Xbox 360 at the moment, loving Forza, and the wheel on that is superb. That was what made me change my mind and go for this. So this, as you know, is a sim racing seat, and I've always wanted to do it. But the only thing is, there's no room. There's literally no room left in the house. It's full of consoles. So I needed something that was going to be small, compact, and done the job well. Now this, as I say, can support all steering wheels. It can fold up. You can go to that size, and that's just in the box. And just to add to it, it can take a weight of 20 stone. So if this is the type of thing that you think fits the bill and could work for you, how about we open it up, we have a look, and we see whether it's good for you. And please leave comments at the end, because it's going to be interesting to see. So is it really worth the money? Right, so here we have the box, and now it's time to open it up. Let's see what's inside. I've been waiting for this for a long time. And this is going to be fun getting out of the box. I genuinely think that half the weight on this is getting out of this box, because this box weighs a ton. But in saying that, they pack it well. So here we have it, GT Lite, the foldable cockpit, and this is next level racing, and it really truly is next level racing. It folds down into next to nothing. It supports all steering wheels, it supports all pedals, and it's got a 20 stone maximum weight limit on it. Yeah, to me, I can't see this being bad, and the fact that it can fold up and go into literally the smallest of gaps rather than one of the old X-Rockers that took up so much room. Before I even go further, this is actually quite a good gig. Right. Thanks for your help. Always good. Right, so.
I thought I'd let you play and I'd put it up. Like a hand.
Yes, please. You're going to have to hold the box there. Just put it down there. Yeah, the instruction manuals, that's... Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Right, so may the building commence. Are you going to be manual lady?
Here we have the instruction manual.
Destruction manual. Right, so I'm assuming that that is the gearing plate, or for the manual selector. Look, that's it, they put in this pre-race check. tools and everything that come with it.
Do not use
So it actually does have its own tools set up with it. So it's got its own kits that you can use, which is quite cool, including the lace-ups for the arms of the chair. So that's quite cool. It does look fairly easy to build, but that can also be a bit deceiving at times as well. So that's your plate. That's your plate for the steering wheel. It does look fairly easy to build, and it doesn't have many parts. I'm quite impressed with it. In fact, I'm more than quite impressed with it. This, I would have assumed, is that's for the clutch, pedal and brake. If you have clutch, pedal and brake, not just brake and accelerator. So yeah, seems sturdy, is quite a bit of a weight. And then we have the next part, and I'm assuming that's for the upward gradient, because then you can raise your pedals up so that they are more built and standardized to a normal car setup, so you can sit fluidly with it. This part seems to be pretty much self there. It has plastic caps on, so the unit itself is pretty much self-doing. Let's take these off. So this is basically deck chair stuff. Oh. Let's get these off.
Hang on. Right. So,
Girls
in the
being
manual,
girls, boys being boys.
3 race checks. The warning is: do not use power tools for assembly, as over tightening can damage your frame.
Yeah.
Do not adjust the hubs whilst user is sitting in cockpit.
Okay.
So yeah, make sure user is out of the cockpit for adjusting. Make sure the hubs are tightened fully before using the cockpit. Make sure the strap on wheel bar is tight when adjusting the hubs. Otherwise the wheel will fall when the hubs are opened.
Now
There is a
cool.
support.
It's even got lumbar supports on it, which is really cool. You're not seeing that clearly. There you go. That's actually got built-in lumbar supports, and it's also got a opening gap. So basically, you're doing long distance racing. Yeah, that's really nice.
And for all the ones who like to check that you've got all your nuts and bolts and screws, ta-da! It's best to check before you make.
Is a possibility. We've been down this road before. I think the last time we done this, something like this, it was Enterprise. If you haven't seen that video, please feel free to have a look and give us your opinion. This is cool. So this is, so that literally at this point, once you put the bar on the back, see, nobody, I don't know anybody that goes by the instructions. They just use the solid idea of doing it. Because this, logically,
Hang on. So
this logically goes there, which means that that slots into the back.
You're supposed to install the nuts and bolts when you've done this one, by the way, rather than putting those in.
Yeah, I know. I'm just fitting this in.
No, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I'm sitting this in so that it's a raised like this, because that. Now the scary bit, this is, there you go, this is just not even putting nuts and bolts in, but that is the chair pretty much in its place.
And wobbly.
Yeah, we've just got to balance that out between the two with the nuts and bolts at the back. But pretty much that's the seat there already. Now, I find that pretty impressive. Let's have a look. How impressive does that look? Let's be honest. Just give you a look there so you can see. Now that is the chair pretty much already set up, and that's been less than 4 minutes. So that's quite impressive within itself. There's a lot of stuff going on here. So what we're going to do is we're going to give a gap, and then we'll do a time total, and we'll come back to you. But this is...
We have to add some nuts and bolts.
Yeah. So now it's time for the nuts and bolts of the situation. Lots of washers.
And after 10 minutes of building.
Fine, so it's been 10 minutes now, as you can see by the big sign. We're still a little bit further forward. We're trying to check out for everything that's as. We have got one small situation with it, but nothing that can't be solved. I would advise that if you have your own tools, keep them in backup. But so far, at this present second in time, we're just checking to make sure that the screws are all there, everything's all in place, and getting everything done. And we'd advise checking all your nuts and bolts, as my young lady has said, because yeah, we're encountering bits and bobs. So we're going to give you an update in 10.
20 minutes in.
Right, so at this present second in time, this is where we are. We're still with the first bit. The units that you get to use for the Phillips head is one of these, and you have absolutely no grip with it. This does its job. This is a little bit random, so I would advise, like I have,
And these are what you need.
to sit there and get your own set out so that you've got a little bit more hand grip. But this unit here isn't as good as you think. Allen does, this part does, that holds onto the nuts perfectly, but pretty much I would advise getting your own toolkit if you have it. But so far, yeah, it's coming on.
2 screws in.
So we're 2 screws in, and you've got to twist it. Well, there you go. Sort of, yeah, you've got to move it from side to side, because the screw holes, to get them all the way through, they're very exact. So yeah, but other than that, so far this is all we're finding. So next stop,
30 minutes. Thought I'd be further on than I am.
right, so here's where we are at this present second in time. So what we've found is that on this unit there's 2 latch downs here. This one doesn't seem to be serving a purpose because it's against its grain as such, so it's not actually resting on it. This one has got the same bar that's come out, but it is actually bent up, which is a bit annoying. So I've got to now try and find a little bit of an industrial tool, because I sat there and I thought, well, for the guise of it, and they're quite solid, so I wouldn't advise using small tools. If you've got proper tools, I'd advise using those, but other than that, it's going okay. It's just a case of trying to find the bits that are required and attaching them on. But other than that, so far, not too bad. So we're a half hour in at this present second, and we're still at the same point to try and get sorted through, but we're getting there slowly but surely.
40 minutes on, and now I just want to see a video manual.
Right, so the update now. At the moment we're looking at 40 minutes because we overjotted, but we're finding that there's a situation with this section here, with the back strut, that some of the nuts and the screws aren't as good as. There's a catching point with one of these catch-on hooks, which you can latch up and then catch onto, and some of those aren't working as well as they should. Still nothing bad, and still nothing that's going to cause any detrimental problem, but it's now just a case of just trying to identify what's what and put it all in the right place. But other than that, we're getting on there. It's taking a bit of time, and the instructions aren't exactly clear, it will be said. So to be honest with you, I would hunt for a video that turns around and says, I believe there is somebody on YouTube that does a video for it, so he's more concise. But
there is a QR code that will take you straight to the video.
There you go. So there is a QR code that will take you straight through to the video for what it's done. So on that, we are still plotting onwards.
Okay, it's 50 minutes now and we found the video manual. Now we're starting to make progress.
Right, so as we're looking at this at the present second now, we're looking at 50 minutes. And it's getting there. It is certainly getting there. And we've got one of the first straps on so that it's nailed through. We haven't tightened the front up. So the back's been done. And front bar's been sorted. This has been sorted so that you've got the link through so that you can open it up and put it back in again. So there's your cockpit in and out. So that's all sorted through. So that's the steering wheel sorted through and the main part of the chair done. Now all we have to do technically from this point on is connect on any extras that are needing, like for instance the shifter here and the main pedal stop at the bottom, and then technically we should be done. But it has taken quite a while to do, and I would definitely advise to use the video that's on the QR code, and I believe there's a couple of other people that have bought this that have done their own videos as well. So I'd advise for the pitfalls of this, and whatever you do, I wouldn't use their Phillips screwdriver. It just it doesn't work. There's no grip to it in any way, shape or form. So time to climb on again.
Well, it seems like a long time. We have the video manual we've been working with, and that's increased the speed exponentially. So it's now just a case of cracking on, making sure that everything's tight and doing it should be, and I'm looking forward to the racing.
Right, so it's been an hour and 10 minutes now at this point, and we found a website which we will be putting in the link in the description, and basically connecting through. One thing to point out is there is a bar that goes through here. So this, when it goes in, there is a turning slot. So when you undo this section here and pop that out, it allows that to have full movement, but it's got a locking system on it. So always make sure that that is done and that there is a bar through. Don't do it tightly, because if you do it tightly, it will cause damage. I could see that a mile off. And that clips onto there. So now basically that's your plate on, and then it's just a case of putting the foot base on, which is this section here. And technically, depending on whether you've got a gearbox or not, or whether you've got a manual flip switch on your steering wheel, it's either down to a manual gearbox or it is paddles. So we're just now adjusting that and getting that sorted through. I have paddles. I don't have a manual setup yet. So we just work it out and see what goes from that point on. But at this present second in time, it's quite impressive. And we'll be giving it the sit down test seat thing in hopefully the next video. So let's see what happens next. Right, it's been some time now, it has to be said. And it's taken us quite a while to sort through. And I will be honest with you, the booklet itself, to be really honest with you, is not as concise as it could be. So it all fits through, does everything that it needs to do with the attachments on the sides. It's solid, it is solid, and I'm going to give it a try just to see what we've got. If it collapses, this is where I go, oh, IKEA. But yeah, I have a faint feeling that the driving stance is a bit too far, but in saying that, I'll have to reaffix that. But yeah, as the chair goes, I would say, yeah, that's comfortable. It is comfortable as well actually, and it does support the lumbar. And I can see that the pedals probably for me are going to be about here-ish. But other than that, yeah, for the money, it's taken a while, but I would turn around and say we've got more information out of the link that we're going to be putting in this than we did from the booklet. So that's the honest truth of it. There's little bits that, like for instance, a bar here that goes through so that when you release it like that and bring it out, it's actually got a locking bar here. And we found that out, believe it or not, on the website or on this link rather than in the booklet, and it was a combination between the two, but it was pretty much up in the air. It's a very comfortable chair to get in and out of. So I would turn around and say, for making and sorting through, I would say that it was a good one to do. I would say it's definitely a nice chair to have, and the fact of its collapsibility and just basically unlatching it and unlocking it and moving it forward. So let's see if I've got this right. That would be that there. I'd be taking that out of there, out of there. Move that down, move that up, collapse this part here, and if it turns around and it says about the banding, this bit here, you can see that there's a linker that goes through the centre, so you can just about see it if I zoom in. So that would be this band here, which is just soliding up back and front. And yeah, I would say that it's definitely going to be able to be a hell of a lot easier to store. But other than that, I would turn around and say it has been long, and I would turn around and say that for compactness, yes, definitely. And I will be doing a race with it at some point after this video, and I will do a separate review on that just to highlight exactly how good or how bad it's been. But to be quite honest with you, for what it is, it's definitely worth the money. It's a bit of a trial to do. As I said, just refer back to the website that we're putting in the link, and that should give you all the answers. Follow it stage by stage, and with that, I would say that's me, SUZY650, and yeah, I'm happy with it. I am happy with it. It's been a trial, but yeah, happy to have it. So when this was done, I had a dilemma. I wanted to play with this, but I knew that I was too tired. It was too late. So I decided to put it in the cave and get it sorted through and ready so that I could get up first thing in the morning, go down the stairs and play with something that I've been waiting to play with for a long time. So yeah. Right, so here we have it. This is it in its final resting place for the time being. I'm going to use the wonderful concoction of that you can pack it up, put it down at any point you want, and literally cart it from room to room without trial. Obviously these two units probably need to be taken off of it, but I'll define that when I get there. But this is actually really, really good. It's a very comfortable seat. It's a lovely sitting position. Well, obviously that's dictated by yourself, but yeah, everything fits on. This is an Xbox 360 steering wheel that I've got on this, which it does hold. Needs a little bit of prompting, but it does hold. And yeah, it just all works very, very well. The plating sits at a nice angle. The brake pedal and the accelerator, I've strapped those down to save shifting and movement. But as I say,
That's just doing it on a small screen. I'll try it on the big one at some point and see how the wording goes, but as a general rule of thumb, would I recommend this to a friend? Out of 10, 10. Yes, most definitely. Is it worth the money? Yeah, definitely worth the money. It's very comfortable to sit into, and it's a comfortable seat to have. Would I say that it's convenient to store? Yes. That's got to be a 9, because you can't ever give anything a 10 when it comes to storage. So is it worth the money that you pay for it? Yes. Yes, most definitely. That is a fantastic unit, and as you can see, it sits quite nicely. The cave's not massive, but this really does take the cave up, and it just feels very, very comfortable. And I've been doing racing, and to be honest with you, yeah, the results have been quite good. A couple of wall knocks, but yeah, the driving skill on it, it takes about 4 or 5 laps to get into it, but other than that, all good. So with that being said, I would say definitely a 9 out of 10, because you can't give anything 10, but it's a very close. And yeah, I would highly advise. So if you're lacking space and you're wanting a really good quality gaming chair that can collapse and just hide into nowhere, personally I would turn around and say this is your choice. But I would also turn around and say they do a video, and if you're the person that's putting it together, then I would advise using the online video that comes with it. So with that being said, that's me. Very happy with a wonderful piece of kit. Really, really happy with this. And that's SUZY650 signing out. Well, this is the GT Lite review link that we were promising you inside the video. So enjoy yourself, have fun doing this, enjoy the digital manual. It's so much better than the actual manual. Link and subscribe to us if you will, and happy racing.